And it's good. Hello and welcome to another Industry Live Sensitive Assumptions series. I'm Kimberly, and this is my friend and kindred spirit, Trisha, over here this way. um, and we are here to chat with you about things to consider or tips, things to do when considering starting your next chapter and starting anew. So we're going to jump into that topic here shortly. But before we do that, and we're also, Trisha's going to do a guided meditation as well. So that's going to be the treat for you to stay till the end. Trisha and I, wherever you're watching us from, we want you to leave a comment, ask a question. We're coming to you live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. So wherever you're watching us from, let us know. If you watch us on the replay, put hashtag replay and the city that you were watching us from. And I think that will do it. So without further ado, I'm going to let Trisha give us a little insight on who she is and what her background is.
Well, hi there. I want to start by saying thank you so much, Kimberly. I'm so excited to be here. I am a friend to Kimberly, a kindred spirit, as she said before. The world has kind of brought us back together, which has been such a joy in the last few weeks. I am a 20-year multifamily industry veteran, similar to Kimberly. That's where we met back in one of our previous chapters. Recently, I've spent my time doing some writing. I do a lot of research, a lot of work, a lot of studying and teaching, whole being wellness. It's really where I have found in these last few years, after suffering some tragedy, both personally and within our family, again, similar to Kimberly, something else that's kind of brought us back together. Yes. The focus has come now on kind of pairing together the whole being wellness, business, multifamily, and then again, whatever Kimberly and I can come together and make better.
Yes.
So it's great to be with you today, honey. I've missed
you. Thank you. Me too. And we're here to share our experiences as it relates to mental health in the workspace. That's what the Sensitive Assumption series is about. But we also will be going live in the evenings, both at today at 12, or every Wednesday at 12, I should say, and Wednesday at 5:30. So if you're interested in being a guest, I'm just throwing that out there, that those topics around mental health in the workplace or business, as if you can talk about operations, marketing, any of that without selling, we'd love to have you as a guest. So, but let's talk about, well, let me give you a little background on where I came from. Like Trisha said, multifamily. I was with the help of some very amazing people. We started something called Capture the Market. It was one of the first video production companies that was nationwide. We took your video and we put it on a website and all of social media. So I've been doing social media before Google bought themselves a YouTube, because they had Google Video Beta and nobody was going to it. So they just bought YouTube. So I've been doing social media a long time. And we sold in 2017, and that transition did not go as well as initially had planned. So I was forced to find a new chapter very quickly. I was forced to try to figure out what I want to do next. And I just knew what I didn't want to do, and that was video production. I could have started a whole other video production company with all the people that came to me, because we were known as the video guys and the video girls, shout out CTM. But I didn't want to do that. So I started looking elsewhere. Trisha, I don't know if this is, how it went for you when you started looking, inward, if you will. But I definitely knew what I didn't want to do. So I was avoiding that at all costs. What do you?
I think that's the perfect segue into kind of our inner work part. The same thing was happening to me. I had been in the multifamily industry. Then I was out doing more contract work, but still within multifamily. And then it really came to a point of where it became so overwhelming, and I was sacrificing time. I was making charts to be here, charts to be there. And again, it was with that technique of going inward to really figure out what was vital, what really mattered to me. Like, and this meant journaling, like literally sitting down.
Yeah.
I'd have lists of the work shit to do. I'd have lists of the family but there was absolutely never any time to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So
Journaling and listing things that you were like passionate about.
well, that's right. Maybe we'll throw up our slide real quick and we'll
Oh, yeah,
do
yeah.
just
Thank
kind
you
of,
very
we'll
much.
say, that's okay. What we'll do is we'll show kind of the 5 tips we're going to talk about, because we are starting with the idea of committing with the inner work.
Yeah.
And then maybe
And
we'll
that means working on yourself. Was that what that's supposed to mean?
you know what, I'm going to read this off a little bit, because I read this just the other day, and it says, rather than focusing on why they did what they did or why they are who they are, you start focusing on why you are who you are and why you do what you do. Because a lot of times they're like, inner work, what does that mean? How do you get in there? How do you? But it really is that idea of, like we're saying now, and I think I was sharing with you earlier, being a writer, I sit and write everything. I make lists of love and joy, dislike. And I'd realize most of the stuff I was loving to do, I wasn't doing. I was stuck over here.
So you so you make, one of the techniques that you, is what I'm hearing, is that you put columns and you do love, joy, and dislike.
Love, enjoy, dislike. So you're thinking of those things you love to do, that you enjoy doing, and dislike doing. Anyone that's actually worked with me throughout many of the decades have made these lists alongside. I'll sit right there with them. This is, again, I believe any employee, when you know what you love to do, you're passionate, you come to work. So knowing that even in your employee, and you're having someone struggle, to sit right beside them, and just in the context of this work environment, what do you love, enjoy, and dislike? You got an employee that's stuck in that dislike. Some people do like to go outside and mow lawns. That would be their favorite thing to do, while somebody else wants to be, like you, producing
inside.
So again, just to really, and again, really mentally each day, making that time and reserving that energy to do what I love to do.
Yeah. Journaling and making the list to focus on what internally you really, what really lights your fire. Like the next one is identify what ignites you. For me, I spent a lot of time on LinkedIn and following other people that were business influencers, if you will, or running businesses, and listening to their podcasts. So I updated my LinkedIn profile and started really filling the whole thing out. And then I also spent time, just reconnecting with people on LinkedIn and some text. I was definitely sending out text messages and emails. So I was doing electronic communication just to reconnect people, letting them know that I'm starting my next chapter. Please keep me in mind. That's what I physically, or digitally started doing, on top of becoming a LinkedIn premium member, so I could send multiple emails, or like, what do you call it? Connect and send messages to people that I did not know. So that was huge and very helpful to collaborate.
Now, did you have a time though, Kimberly, between, say, like capture the market, the sale of the company, and like where you had to go inside to figure out what the next chapter was going to be, or did it just flow?
COVID. Well, no, it was COVID. COVID was definitely that time, because I was very blessed that when I decided that I was not staying at CTM, that a large electricity company, shout out Reliant, gave me a branding and brand ambassador gig for about a year, and they were great to me. So it gave me that time, to look into other things. I also leaned into other conferences, my curiosity about other conferences, and attended a couple of those to see if, and that's how I got started even on podcasting, because I went to a conference that was about audio instead of video. It was about audio, which that is what podcasting is about. So, and I leaned into some of the books and recommendations that these business influencers that I was following. So that was definitely something. But it wasn't until COVID that I had to look inward, because I got put into emergency detention for the first time in my life at 47 years old. So.
But you knew when CTM was over. Did you make that choice again? Like that was something that you were at the end of?
Well, we didn't anticipate it to be over. This is funny you asked me this question. When we decided to sell, we thought we were going to be at it for a couple more years. This was just a recharge of the bank, is what me and my business partners
Absolutely.
thought.
Yep.
That was what this was supposed to happen, and it didn't happen that way because a bigger conglomerate came in and bought the conglomerate that bought us, not for us, but just because it was coincidental. And their board decided to go ahead and sell, and we were not privy to that information, so it just kind of blew my world up, and I had to make a decision because I didn't want to stay at a company that I was not originally planning to be at in the first place. So that's how it happened. But I dove into leaning into the things that I needed to, and leaned on old things like social media, YouTube. I started researching how to do podcasts and watching other people's podcasts on YouTube. But when COVID hit, I started to do lives. I've noticed that Gary Vee, shout out to Gary Vee, the master. He was the one that he gives all his great information away for free. You can pay him for it too, but he gives for all the little people his information for free. And literally, because he started going live when COVID hit, I started researching what he was doing and how he was doing it, and started doing live a couple months after that.
So what is the one thing that you would suggest to someone that may really just have no clue where to start? They know the one chapter has ended. Their first step into
saying yes to everything. I would definitely say yes to everything and try it to see if you like it or not. And
now you have a real confidence that maybe not everybody has.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you give maybe credit for to that?
My mother, she taught me how to network. I watched her. Definitely, she was an adjuster for a large insurance company for a long time, and I just saw her at golf tournaments. Before golf, I knew golf tournaments were that type of networking.
You bring energy.
Mm-hmm. Anybody she gave me that. Sure.
Yeah. So and it's still now though? Is she the one that?
A lot of things I do are because of her, for her. But I would say the confidence is just a mental, like I have to psych myself more. Ever since the second emergency detention, I definitely had to, I have found myself blocked because of things that I didn't unpack in the past. And so practicing meditation every morning is something that helps me, and listening to certain sounds and audio is what gives me that confidence to just get up and go, because it's not as prevalent as it used to be, like my first chapter of my life. So I can honestly say that it's definitely something that I do love to do every morning. It's daily practice. Thank you, Diana, for joining us. I'm just gonna yes, Diana. Oh, she's joining us on both. Oh, yes. Oh, thanks. We appreciate you so much. So, and she's and collabing with others as well. When I said say yes to everything, like you reaching out, this started a couple weeks ago where, I had been putting out that I wanted to have different hosts. And so the universe and God sent me an old boss of mine he was one of my first bosses at 16, and he wanted to learn. He's now in HR. So Poncho, shout out to Poncho. He wanted to be a part and learn. So he's allowing me to teach him how to do live streaming. And then Diana, she's DB's, or Diana Benitez, the real Diana Benitez. She is also starting a podcast. So she's coming on and being a co-host, a rotational co-host as well for us. And then you responded to one of the lives that I did with Poncho and threw it out there that you were interested, and I followed up. I follow up. That's key, is follow up on everything.
Oh, yes, you do, girl. Thank you. And yeah, because and again, it was the same idea of my circle kind of closing in when I was fortunate enough to write and publish the Whole Being article, multifamily. So again, the last few months, I spent a lot of time really researching this whole being wellness inside the multifamily industry. And just like everywhere else, the Eastern traditions, the spa-like resorts, the tranquility, the mind, body, spirit, it's in the workplace, it's in the home, it's, obviously important everywhere. So again, just in the synchronicities of you and I coming together, and I, unfortunately, same with COVID, with my own personal situations going on for the last few years, I was unaware of your casts, your mental discussions within the multifamily industry. So it was just this random one day, and I'm here's Kimberly, and it's like, wow, like she's living the same experiences I had lived.
With your mom.
Well, that's exactly right. So I'll take a second and kind of
Yeah.
share
Give
a
some
little
background.
bit about what kind of got even us back together, similar with COVID, but it was right before COVID. I actually took a terrible fall down my stairs. So in that time, I wasn't able to be treated or seen because it was COVID and everything was kind of closed down. And it just physically took a terrible toll on my body. It ended up that one of my ribs was slipped. So I had to have surgeries. I had to, again, just really reclaim my physical body. And I'm still struggling. I live with chronic pain. So it's become a mind, matter, body, physical. So just as we were talking, when we're really saying commit to the inner work, identify what ignites you. Here I was in this situation, and my mother had been given a fatal cancer diagnosis. And we just lost my mom a year ago. Even in that, and anybody that is a caregiver, and anybody that has a ill or dying parent, it's impossible to live a life of joy when someone around you.
Yes.
Right.
That is true. But you have to, I find myself, if I don't make myself, because I am a caregiver, I left that part out to my mother. I shouldn't assume that people
That's
knew
your
that.
number one job.
Yeah, that's my number one job.
Mm.
But yes, it's hard to be joyful with someone in pain, or that is not going to be there, in 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever it is, or just the not knowing. For me, my mom's got dementia, no short-term memory, and so now they're saying it's Alzheimer's, but she's not declining her rest of her body. It's slowly moving, just slower, and she just has no short-term memory. But I have to make myself be joyful. I have to make myself choose the happiness to get myself in the right state of mind to even provide for her, right?
Exactly.
There's no way, if I stayed doom and gloom, that would I be able to give her the upbeat, loving, comforting, caregiving love that I give her if I'm all doom, because she senses that energy. She feels when I'm irritated or rushed, right?
100%. I mean, a caregiver, you have to, learning to care for yourself, learning the self-love, those terms that we as moms, women, and I don't even want to say that men too. I don't want, everybody who's caring for another person like themselves, or even in cases, if you're a mom, right, even more so than you care for yourself.
Like Diana, she's a mom, and she said she felt guilty, and you feel guilty if you have any type of fun, like you don't want to enjoy your life.
Oh, Kimberly, I think I felt guilty of even being successful. You feel guilty of, I was long distance. My sister, God bless her, was literally, she was the you of our family, caring for my mother, bathing her. I mean, to every degree. So anything I could do to then support my sister, but then to have these big dreams, aspirations, wanting.
You don't feel like you should.
How could you? And I remember just out to everyone, my whole family, for 5 years, we lived with her dying, right? And she was that sick. She died more and more every day. And then once she passed, it was just this true, and that was even over a year ago. And the effort is an everyday, absolute mind, body, spirit effort to find that joy. I say a lot of times, especially we women, men have a better ability to allow themselves play, be golf, be
well,
sports.
I'm gonna have to say that it's men just hide it better. They don't, it's not that they don't, and I think it's the human. It's just whoever who understands. I like this statement that Diana says, energy arrives before we do. People that understand that those are the people that, you know, and that's what I want to get to. Like, that's where I had to get the gut check to figure out, oh, I need to work on this every single day because I am living with someone who will not be here in I don't know how long. Like, she's slowly withering away, right? And that in itself is tough, right? Like I say, it's like being a parent, and because I don't have any kids, but then someone made this remark, but you know they're going to grow up and be somewhere and grow to be something, you know, bigger and better one day. It's the opposite for the person that I'm caring for now, right? Like, one day she just won't be here, but she'll be in a better place. Like, for me, because I believe in God and the universe, I believe
you're loving her there.
Yes, she will be with my grandparents and her brother. In fact, like, the fact that all of them have passed before her, she will be living it up with them in heaven. And that, for me, gives me peace.
Oh, that's right. And it feels that my mom is here now for and with my joy in a way she wasn't before. And kind of back to Dee's comment, something I've also heard and agree with as well, is the universe doesn't speak English, French, Chinese. It speaks energy.
Yes, that's awesome.
That, right? And that is our job. And that's what I focus on every day. You have the feeling, the emotion, the thought, then it happens in life. So it is our job to stay at those higher elevated energy levels of joy, happiness, fulfillment. Another great one was if we could renegotiate the definition of success based on how much we laugh every day.
Yeah.
So think about
that would be awesome.
Renegotiate success.
Yes, that's based on the laughter.
I've watched about every Netflix stand-up there is. I mean, on any sort of day in the background, it's just, if it's laughter, a 30-minute sitcom, a joke, I
watched Two Broke Girls. I
that's a good
one. Which Big Bang Theory.
That's one of my favorites.
Put on some Big Bang Theory, and you laugh at every single episode. You can you can find.
That's one of my favorites. How about Mom? You watch Mom?
Yeah. Yes, I've watched all of Mom too.
That's a good one.
So all of that makes even Golden Girls, like, to go old school retro.
How about Friends? Hot in Cleveland?
I've heard great things about that. I just have not gone down that route.
That was awesome.
So just to be considerate of everybody's time, and because I want to make sure that we don't get off track, I do want us, you know, I threw up on the screen just a few minutes ago, and I'll do it again, about what the overall, you know, our overall tips, because I want Trisha to guide us in a practical meditation here, or guide me live. So these are some of the tips that, you know, we're giving you to consider, you know, commitment to the inner work. So journaling, listing things, you can list all those things out, identify what ignites you. For me, I leaned into LinkedIn and collaboration with others. And so did Trisha.
I have one more little list here, just another idea. This is another great one. It's called a mental inventory list. And your columns in this one is what you're currently working on, what you should be working on, what you want to be working on.
Okay.
And then after you get through here, you can even take this word should and change it to could. It's another one of my tips that I love to. And we're always saying, I should quit drinking.
Yeah.
I should not eat that. I should. When it's I could, then you're making that choice. I'm choosing to yes or to no. Yeah. Right. So really with me, it's like the mental getting onto paper. Now I know that doesn't work for everybody. Sometimes it's talking it out. Sometimes it's, but again, really being able to express in a way that you're most comfortable with. I think we both agree. Number one, how to get to that inside is also, again, 100%. The flow of expressing it.
Yeah. Well, mine was going live after I was put in emergency detention for the second time. So I started going live on Instagram. But yeah, like let's jump into this guided meditation, because we have like 6 minutes, so we might run over a little bit. So just so everybody knows, I'm thanking you guys again. If you guys have questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below or wherever you're watching us. And I'm going to go ahead and bring up this slide. So explain this to us, Trisha.
Okay, this is a technique that I was introduced to, say, about a year ago. It is the Ziva meditation. You can find all the information at ziva.com. I am not affiliated whatsoever.
No, this
It
is
is
not a
just,
commercial.
it's not a
Yeah.
commercial. This is a real down to earth. I think we've all been told to meditate, but how do you really make it practical? So give me just about 60 seconds here and I'll kind of walk you through the practicality of it.
Okay.
So what's suggested is twice a day. Now you're going to set an alarm to remind yourself, and again, a meditation early in the morning. If you wake up at 5 o'clock, it's okay to be meditating at 5:30. Sometimes we think we need to get all worked up to then meditate. No, it's about putting yourself in that right space.
Yeah. I
So
lay in bed and meditate when I
as
my
I,
alarm.
I honest to God, Kimberly, and I love that you say that, and I even wrote that down here. But so I lay down to meditate too. Sitting physically for years has been the most uncomfortable thing. That's why it was tough to meditate.
Yeah.
So I sometimes lay face first on the ground and
Mhm.
just take that 20 minutes. But the real helpful tips are like to choose a quiet space, set a time once or twice a day. It doesn't take any more than 15 to 20 minutes. And this is really just time for you. You're not doing anything right. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just taking the time, right?
Yeah.
Creating the ritual, silence all the distractions. Don't let anything be beeping. No circulatory, no nervous system workups need to happen here. And again, this meditation is being comfortable in any posture, any position that you want. And how we're going to start is you're just going to set an intention for this meditation, whether you just want to be peaceful, you're going to reduce some stress, clear out, get some clarity. Maybe you want to have a real goal that resonates.
Make a phone call. Let's easy. I'm going to make a phone call. I'm going to start cleaning out the closet. Like literally those can be as simple.
And even that's exactly right. And you just want maybe start to clean out, just start to feel lighter. So for the meditation practice, this Z technique, what you do is, as I said, I'm going to kind of walk you through it, but we're not going to take the 20 minutes. I'm going to start with kind of how you get into the meditation.
Okay.
And that would be, and we'll both kind of do it at the same time. So kind of have to forget about what's going on live or moving the screen or anything. You just have to.
Where do you want me to put the screen before we start? Because
on the first, back to the first one.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. There you go. Okay.
Is it there? Okay. There we go, babe. Okay. So if you just want to sit and get comfortable, kind of drop into your body, just being nice and soft, and let your shoulders drop down and start to feel just that you're breathing. You don't have to do anything special with your breath. Just know that you're breathing. And then this is the mindfulness part of the meditation. So what you're going to do is by using your 5 senses, you start with your eyes, and your eyes are closed, but you don't have to speak this, just think it. You're going to start thinking of what you see. You may see blackness, you may see a little pattern, you may just see your eyelids, but you slowly work through all your senses, and you're grounding yourself into just seeing for a minute, then to just hearing. So what sound do you hear that's the loudest? What sound can you hear that's the softest?
I hear the AC.
Yeah. And then for your scent, what you might smell. So breathe in through your nose and what you can smell the strongest or the lightest. And then for your sense of touch, if you're lying down, it might be that you feel yourself like sinking into your bed.
Or the chair if you're sitting down.
That's right. Or
I'm actually putting my neck forward and putting my hands in my pocket and letting my hands sink into my pocket. So that's
perfect.
Because I'm also trying not to fall over. But
well, right. And even when you're you might feel your clothes on your body for the first time. You might feel that your shoulders are super heavy, and you can actually do a deeper breath and relax your shoulders or your neck, or take a stronger breath. So here, this is just that grounding technique that we're talking about. You're just bringing yourself into the mindful presence that all that you are here is right, that you are here right now. Everything's perfect. Everything's fine. You're going to work yourself now in this meditation, there's a 1-word mantra. And the word mantra just means something, again, that you're going to repeat. Mine is the word one, O-N-E. And you can pick any word that you choose that kind of just doesn't have a lot of feeling, that doesn't bring up, anger, sadness. The word one just resonates, that our mind, our body is one. We are all one. So, and it kind of has a tone too. If you're just in, all that's happening is your brain is thinking the word one, one. And what's going to happen? You're going to sing songs like one is the loneliest number. You're going to think one day I'm going to do that. And that's all perfect. This whole idea, I think we all think that meditation is about going to a space that doesn't exist or doesn't, and it's not. It's about recognizing what thoughts are coming up during that time, that you're just, again, going back, kind of dancing. I've heard it said, like, the number one's kind of dancing, or your word's kind of dancing around, and it slowly makes its way back to you.
But could it be any word that I want it to be?
Any word that resonates with you. You can choose your word, and it's just what you are trying to bring your mind back to when it's going other places. But if it wants to go grocery shopping for 5 minutes through, let it go. And then when your word will somewhat just kind of remind you to come back. And all you're doing in that time is, again, just relaxing all the muscles, all of your breath, just trying to get there. But that time may be needed to clear out those, crazy thoughts that were happening. So, and another thing is, because you don't want to have your phone nearby, no distractions. When you begin, have a clock so you can see, because it is hard in the beginning to sit for that 15 minutes. Because you'll get your mindfulness part down. You'll be like, okay, was that 4 minutes? Let me look at the clock. And it's so okay to open your eyes, look at the clock. It was like, okay, that was 2 minutes. Then you start doing your meditation. You're like 3 minutes in, it feels like 15. You look at it, like, oh shit, well, okay. Close your eyes, and just keep trying. But it's okay to check on yourself. See where, then you won't want to get out of the meditation, right?
I usually try to find some sound, some sort of 528 hertz sounds, or the bowl that people use in Reiki. I try to find a 15-minute or 10-minute, however long that I want to meditate for, so that way that sound is playing in the background, and I can hear that and just fall into it and do all these things that you're telling, giving instruction to do. I didn't realize I was doing that, right? Yeah. But and sometimes I'll even, there's lots of guided meditations on YouTube as well. But I have to find the right voice. But so I always go for just the sound, and that helps me. So I don't have to look at time, because I just know I'm not going to move until my alarm or this segment of audio stops.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And I use white noise. Sometimes it's even if the dishwasher or the washing machine is going, it's the perfect time to have that. And that's why this is just as simple. This is no special technique. This is more of just like, if you're busy, you can do this as your desk chair for 10 minutes. You're just getting mindful. You're dropping into your body. The whole idea is, like, every cell in your body lights up when your nervous system is not reacting. That's all this is, just calming yourself, bringing your cortisol levels. I mean, there really is a lot of medical science that meditating will literally alleviate so much of the adversities that we all struggle with each day. Yeah. And the manifesting part, and again, not to scare anybody with the word, but at the end of it, like when you've given into your meditation, then this is the part of gratitude where you just get to spend the next 5 minutes not only being thankful. It's like, you don't have to be thankful for the terrible things that are happening or the good things that are happening, but it's also a time to be thankful for what hasn't happened yet. So it's that little bit of that dream space that you and I talk. Nothing gets to happen if you
blessings. Or if you want to, you can make it around God or whatever religion but it's about the blessings, because every religion believes in blessings. Or miracles, if you want to call it miracles, blessings, that's the manifestation. I'm trying to give it a little more practical, for those because we don't want to scare people off, but at the same time, this is what we're talking about. So if now's the time that we lose you, so be it. We lose you. We see you later.
How did Do As We Do or Industry Live, how did anything ever come to be? You and I both, like, again, the creating part, when we were saying one of our tips, create it, do it. I have built websites, written articles. You have produced videos, done podcasts. What is inside, again, until you can kind of calm and find out. And it's scary to do all of it, isn't it? You and I both. We say, and we're making mistakes right and left. Let yourself make mistakes. Don't be perfect. Don't get times right. Don't spell shit. You know what I mean? You don't have to.
But I do find that when I stay in the moment, like even in this, doing meditations like this, these short, it helps me reset my brain. It helps me reset my energy. It helps me reset everything. And then I find that I'm more open and receptive to other new things, new ideas that are coming into my head. Like if I know, it's kind of like when somebody knows that they're hungry. When you're hungry, stop and put some food in your mouth. or you're thirsty, stop and put cold water, and you will be surprised at that little thing, or go take a walk. That it helps you get recentered and focused. If you can't, we would like you to at least take 5 minutes to do this, 10 minutes, 8 minutes. There are 8, there are 7-minute meditations, but if you do that, it does reset your brain.
Those that don't have enough time to meditate are the ones that need to meditate the most.
Amen. Amen, sister.
I didn't make that up. Yeah, I won't claim that one.
Yeah,
but it's just
you're quoting someone else, and that is an amazing. It is very true. Like I was always too busy to sit still and long enough, and it wasn't until I started doing therapy that I even discovered what meditation meant and how to do it. It's the
same nourishment as you just spoke of. When you're thirsty, when you're hungry, the mind and the body, it's one. You said a great word about balance, blockage. All of that is what keeps us out of balance. So these are techniques that the generations have been doing for thousands of years. We are slow to them.
Yeah,
we are slow to accepting some of these modalities that honestly will heal quicker, faster, and safer than a lot of the things that we've kind of talked ourselves into.
Yeah. 100%. And I appreciate you sharing that with me, and guiding me through all that, because it's definitely, it's easy to do, but it's just getting started. I felt was the hard. I needed somebody to show me, talk me through it. And then I pieced other things together, like the whole audio and the music, because I always had a hard time making my brain slow down. So thank you very much for.
When that isn't something I don't do. I mean, I don't do guided meditate. Yeah, I know. But that's what I'm saying. This is something that we're sharing that is, I've only done that meditation privately myself, and you've done your own private meditation.
Yeah.
But I just like trying to make it so practical. And for people, just all you're doing is really allowing the cells of your body to breathe, to laugh, to
all of it
feel good. That's right. You're connecting, you're balancing, and then you're dreaming. I love the manifesting part, because then we can get out of what is just right now, and really have that hope and belief that we can do anything.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. And again, I appreciate everyone joining us. We did go a little bit over, but
fast.
But it was, I know, right? But it does, it flies like that. We're again, I want to throw up Trisha's information so that you can connect with her via email, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on her business LinkedIn, which is Divinity Cafe, as well as her Instagram at all of it's at Trisha Endaz. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, and I'm kind of new to everybody that knows me, I'm new to the social media, like kind of brand new. Kimberly's getting me there.
You're going to get there. Yes. And if you're interested in being on industry, and, please, you can go to this link and fill out and, send me an email. You can contact me, leave a comment. Somebody who should be a guest, leave them in the comments. We want to know. And if again you watch us on the replay, put hashtag replay where you watched us from. And if you want to see other lives, you just go into Google, search ThatKimberly or Industry Live, and you'll see all the other places you can watch us from as well. So I think I've covered everything. And next week, it's July the 5th. We're actually having that live will be at 5:30, and we're having a gentleman on that he wrote a book and has a plot twist, the real life plot twist about his ex-wife trying to poison him. So that Diane is interviewing this gentleman next week. His name is JD. I'm super excited to have them on and us going over that. So it will be a very interesting industry live.
Kimberly. Yeah, that's a good. We got mystery, suspense, and meditation.
And Trisha and I will be back a week after that. So at 12 o'clock, it will be Central Standard Time every day at 12 o'clock. I know I messed up the first posting, but we're getting straight and we're doing good. And thank you everyone for watching us. Thank you, Diana, for joining us, and anyone who pops in. And I hope you all have a great great rest of your Wednesday.
Thank you, sweetheart. This was fun.
It was. I enjoyed it too. Take care. Remember, sharing is caring, everyone. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.